this is just a starting point, right? I mean, we said that this isn't, we're not voting on this,
Right.
right? This isn't the final, this is a starting point. As you said, it's about
We have,
negotiation.
we have severely impacted two of our schools on these cuts right now. Pearlie and Pembroke. are
Right, and we haven't moved
Totally
and we haven't
impacted.
moved the one that's on warning any
I
closer to
think
getting
the
off.
reading-
And we haven't done
You
anything to
cut
fix the
teachers
high
and
school.
not library assistants.
No, I think.
What's that?
You cut teachers and not library assistants.
Right, how do you cut
No,
teachers and
well,
not
where-
libraries?
I know,
I don't know
know.
where we put the
I-
students, because
I
that
don't know.
is a scheduling, yeah,
Yep,
it's a
the-
collective
Because
bargaining issue.
they close the library, right? If there's
Well-
no-
Yeah, but you have to put the teachers have certain periods,
Right.
You'd have to have,
Right.
you have to
yeah,
put the
have
kids
to have
somewhere.
volunteers to run the libraries.
It is, it is, we're short like 4 periods. That's what we've been looking at all their alternatives. But, yeah, I understand.
Well,
So what do you, did somebody suggest that we,
I don't think anybody
Oh,
has
and by the way, all this
suggested-
We don't
mean,
have
all
that.
this has our fees where we left them
Assuming
an
it's
hour ago.
100 right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
With no cap,
No
family
cap.
cap.
Nope. And
So
charging
all our sports and extracurriculum activities right now are seriously impacted
and
as
charging
well.
for bus transportation.
So how much are these cuts are 600, so we're.
642.
We've taken how much off?
So that's
Take
why
it
I don't know the
303 or
number of
something like that?
500.
We're not getting
Can we
approved
get a-
budget number next week.
you've taken off
There's
257,
three members.
176.
Okay. Three yes votes.
257,
Only three yes
156.
votes. You need unanimous vote.
Unanimous vote.
Yeah.
for what?
The
Next week.
Next week.
next week's
Oh,
budget
yeah,
number.
everybody's gotta agree.
That's right.
Otherwise, the budget dies,
That's
Yeah.
right.
which means we won't
Wait,
vote
you guys aren't
until
gonna
the
be here?
24th.
So me and the ants
Yeah,
are
unless
gonna
you have a
vote on
special
numbers?
meeting.
You and the ends.
Yeah.
Well, actually, then you'd have to work with FinCom because we have to go to FinCom on the 16th.
16th, yeah. But FinCom has already told us what our number is.
Well,
in
no,
their-
no,
No,
no.
yeah, I'm not,
They,
yeah.
I'm not convinced of that.
I'm not either.
They said, you
To
know,
present
what
a
we were
level
told was,
funded
we need
budget.
we need to be prepared to know what a level funded budget can look like.
Yes.
And we do.
And we know what that looks like.
And we know what it looks
that
like. That's what we've been
We-
talking
right,
about
we
for
know
weeks
that.
now.
So does the town.
Yeah.
So, and what I understood from the email that we got from the chair of the Finance and Advisory Board was that we should come in prepared to talk about what we feel, you know, what you feel your budget need is. And there's going to be a discussion on, you know, what possible funding mechanisms there can be. I mean, ultimately, they're gonna listen just like they did to every other department, and then on the 24th, when they meet, this is my understanding of the process, on the 24th, when they meet, or the 30th, I'm not sure, there was some discussion as to what the date would be, but then they were going to take into consideration everybody's budgetary requests and needs and determine what the balanced budget was going to look like. So the worst case scenario is if you came in with an increase, is they can say, we're not gonna support your increase, and we have to, you come back and you say, well, what are you gonna cut?
Yeah.
And ultimately, that's how it has to work.
Mhm.
That's where I was
Still
originally
not-
at.
And again, one of the things that, even if you were to come in with a level funded budget, as we've talked about repeatedly,
Because they're not-
by doing so, we're telling the town that they have to increase their budget by probably $350,000.
I was gonna say, north of $300,000.
Yeah, and the town already has, increases of about $400,000 in their
Well,
insurances.
but we also have the elephant in the room, which is the fact that we have contractual obligation
Yeah.
increases, and nobody except for the police chief has increases contractually, right?
Probably true.
Right, that's right,
So-
that's right, and,
Well, Joe
Joe Patella has asked to have a meeting with, some of the, like the couple Board of Selectmen people, and just because he wants to talk about what those kind of questions are, so what the options might be.
Right, yeah.
That's a good idea.
It's a great idea, but when?
I know when that is, it's March 8th, March 9th,
Ninth.
sorry, March 9th. March 8th is the accreditation meeting.
Yeah, March 9th.
So,
And
Again.
Was there any chance of getting, we were gonna try to get, the woman we were trying to meet with yesterday?
Janet Allison,
The accreditation person.
she's coming
She's coming
on
Tuesday, the 8th,
on the 8th
On the 8th.
right,
at,
2:15.
2:15. And she's fine if school committee members want to come.
Yeah, I saw
By
that
her.
email.
So who is attending that meeting, Carol?
Can we meet?
No.
I don't
Oh,
know.
when do you leave?
No, the meeting that you just mentioned.
Friday.
Joe Patella.
This Friday.
Oh,
I leave
Next
the
week.
night of the Thursday, the 10th.
Ann Donahue, I
unfortunately,
believe.
before
I
the
am
meeting
not gonna be
starts.
able to get it.
yeah,
I
Ann
haven't-
Donahue, I believe,
Yeah.
but, I'm sure more than one person can come.
Do you leaving tomorrow night or next Friday?
Next week.
Well,
Are
so
you trying
everything
to think of
Worse,
another?
worse comes to worse. It all depends on how ready I am. So I got a lot of stuff going on.
Could we have another meeting, depending on what we learn, at 2:00, I mean, on the night of the 8th?
Well, I'm not sure what you're gonna learn other than she's gonna look at what has happened since 2006. She's gonna be able to look at what we've done, and she's gonna be able to let us know whether or not any further erosion of the high school funding for the high school and middle school, what it might do. I think, the conversation the community seems to have questions about is the value of accreditation, what happens if we don't have it, what would we have to do to improve our situation. But clearly, the things that we're doing are not
They're
gonna
not
put us in
helpful.
good stead. But I'm not sure that, the point is, I'm not sure that at that meeting, after that meeting, we're gonna get some kind of new information that's gonna drive us.
Alright, so right now we're at 600,000
642.
642, 642.
We wouldn't be able to post.
with
it.
fees
Full.
Close to-
at their
fees.
limits
Right.
and buses $200 per kid.
If we offer transportation.
What, good point. You wouldn't have to offer transportation for kids in 7 through 12, but we gotta get kids to school. I mean, that just,
It seems like absurd to think about not getting kids to school.
I agree.
with
Right,
buses.
exactly. But so isn't getting
I
the
think I'm fine with
absolute,
that number.
642, 642. But so isn't getting the bare minimum of your state
By
requirements.
the way, the 642 is still less than the stimulus money that we lost.
That's
Correct.
Right,
By,
so we're taking, it's a real cut.
It's a cut.
It's
Yeah.
a real cut.
It's real.
What's the real cut? The 279, right?
Yes.
257. Is a real cut.
Yes.
yeah, because we had 700 plus last year's stimulus.
Once you
money.
go past 180, you're talking about a real cut.
Yeah.
Yeah, right, because that was your
Well,
they're all
1.8%
real
increase.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Well, I guarantee you, they
That's
think
like
it's a real cut.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
no,
real
it's not a,
cut.
yeah, it's not that it's
Anyway,
not.
I'm okay with that number.
642, 642.
I think we have it.
So what's the final number, Terry, that you are
Final-
showing for a
The final number
target?
that I am showing would be 12,165,797. That would be an increase of 642, or 5.58%.
Or really a decrease
Yeah.
of
One.
1.5%
0.5, yeah.
over last
Yeah.
year?
Let's see here.
Level funding or level service?
No, I know what she's asking.
Yeah.
No, not quite that much. You've got, if you just use the stimulus money,
Oh,
Yeah, 12.2, it's like maybe half a point.
yeah, about a third.
Yeah, okay.
No, about a half. You're right. No, about a
But
half.
with red brackets around
Yes,
it.
reduction.
Reduction.
Definite reduction.
Okay,
okay.
all right.
Fees.
So that gets us the whole list that we talked about, plus we added the 1.5 literacy back in 16 and 19.
So-
You have-
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
0.46%.
Okay.
Come on, yeah, it's,
Do you want to?
we might be here for a lot of fees,
You wanna have them go?
if you want.
Yeah.
People.
We've gone through
I
that.
think
We're
you're
just
being
talking
given the
fees now.
opportunity, if you'd like to leave, you can. They're going to be talking about fees, so if you wanna stay, that's in your,
I don't have much to say about fees.
I don't
No.
either.
No, I really don't.
No.
I don't either.
All right.
I don't think it's gonna take that long.
okay.
Okay.
I'll tell you what, can
Okay.
I start?
Absolutely.
Doesn't go no way.
No, I would like to, I'll accept
Yeah, yeah.
the number that we took out of the budget, which is the fully fund athletics and the $200. That's what we've said so far, is that number gets us to this, right? That's included in this.
Yes.
And activities.
And the bus thing is an estimate, right?
Mhm.
Obviously.
Right. Yep.
So, what I would like to see is, I'm okay with that number, but I'm not so sure that number shouldn't be allocated differently. I mean, I might think of
Okay.
275 for bus fees or 325 for bus fees,
Oh, I
and
see
then
what you're
offsetting that to whatever the athletic user fees would be. We're thinking about family caps. I mean, I don't know what that looks like.
So if we look at the budget number of 12 point,
I wouldn't change the budget.
so we wouldn't have, it would be 100% borne by the parents, but you want this split between bus and athletic and activities to be more equitable, or,
I'd like to be able to go do some of my own research to see
okay.
what other communities are paying for
Can
buses.
we know,
But not putting
Does that-
anything else on the overall budget.
My idea does not affect what
to
we do.
me,
you.
my biggest problem
Thank
with
you,
the
ladies. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
My biggest problem with the fees is the cap thing, family cap. That we're gonna shut down our sports without having some sort of limit. So what is that family cap, is there any way capturing what that cap is costing us, what that means?
Peter, do we know how many kids hit the family cap? We must.
I don't know that off the top.
No, not off the top
Oh,
of
I
your
wonder
head,
if
but,
Guy might know that.
Guy or whoever's Katie or Joanne, whoever's,
Oh,
I
yeah.
wonder if they could figure out.
And then I would
I
take
think
what,
we could.
I don't know if that's what you just said, I would take whatever it would cost to have some sort of cap on sports, and then I guess, and then equalize that with the buses.
How is that even related? I don't-
Actually, we
I
may
don't
have-
You'd
understand
have
this.
to vote.
Well, right now,
Why don't we take the Pearly activity account and then start putting that into athletics? I don't understand the relationship.
I don't
there
think there
isn't.
is a
There isn't a
relationship.
relationship, George. I'm saying it's a new fee that we just randomly said, okay, it's
$200.
$200.
Yeah, it should
And
be the
you're-
fair market value.
He
Whatever,
wants to look-
whatever, I think whatever it costs us should be the fee.
Right,
cost us $600 something dollars a
But-
Well,
check.
that's $600.
but
No,
Dave-
it's not though, because when you look at the fact that we run the buses 3 times, it's really a third of that. You don't get 70 kids on a bus, you get 70 times 3.
Alright.
No,
Right?
bus capacity is 70 kids, 70 of
You're
the,
not getting 70 middle high
But,
school
but, but
kids.
that
No,
bus,
that's
but
higher,
that
that's
one
50.
bus
Right.
runs, we don't have a brand new bus for every
Right.
single
yeah,
one.
I see what you're saying, okay.
Wicked crowded bus last
Yeah.
year.
well, what's gonna happen is you're gonna figure out what your user fees are, and then your bus fees, and you're just gonna have to use some of your bus fees to offset your cost of, cause your athletic program is gonna cost you a certain amount of money.
If your bus fees cost more than the cost of the busing, is that allowed?
Your
Yeah,
bus
it-
fees will offset your transportation expense in your budget.
No, but what George is saying, can they
So
do
whatever you
revenue?
free
No,
up in
but no, if it doesn't,
transportation.
Yes.
bring it up.
I'm being very
Then you
careful,
go
of
to
what's, I'm
athletics.
trying to be very careful about what's on the record.
Yeah.
Your bus fees will be used to offset your direct transportation costs in the budget.
Yeah.
Now, when those transportation costs are reduced, obviously, if you felt the need to reallocate your budget appropriately, that could be done.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah, okay.
That's all.
Well,
Is that-
or you might be able to take a look at that
Careful
and
enough?
take your transportation costs for athletics and use, in other words,
match.
like things.
Yeah,
Oh, the transportation in
Yeah.
the athletic budget.
because you have matching.
Yeah.
But you
Right.
would do that as a way to institute a cap. Is that what you're saying, Eric?
Yes.
So use that differential for a
Yes.
cap.
Yeah, so I think the issue.
I can support that.
I think the issues are family cap, of some, or understanding the magnitude of the family
The
cap
impact on- yeah.
of the current athletics, and then understanding what a bus fee could be, a range of
Well, yeah, and we
a
have
range
another
of
issue.
200 to whatever that max number is.
But I'm having a problem with, there's a couple of sports on here that are on this list that, to have somebody where it costs us $160 or whatever it is to pay
Yeah.
$520
$520.
is a little
Yeah.
ridiculous.
That's the problem.
So, I think that we need,
We had a
we probably need
differentiation
a
before.
different tier.
Yeah, we did have a different, remember, we have two tiers now, right?
Yeah,
Middle and high
I'd be
school.
looking at a third tier.
Right.
There's also high school, lower
We
cost.
talked with Guy
We
about a
should.
third
A couple
tier.
tiers,
What
we
was the
did.
problem with that? We did talk with Guy about a third tier. There was a reason
Well,
why
it's
we
gonna
didn't
push
do
up,
it.
it's gonna push up the high end. The
Right.
other 2 tiers go up.
Right.
Maybe that's what it was.
That's what it
The,
is.
the other thing
But-
is we'll just have to be
That's what it was.
careful that we keep similar sports in the same tier.
Yeah, in
No,
the
that's okay, but we
Yeah.
can't have a $254 sport paying $600.
No,
no,
no.
the problem that
That
you
gap is just getting
Well,
worse.
and-
you have that now with cross-country paying even
Yeah,
$370.
but that gap is not,
It's not that,
we're
it's not
making it
$400.
150 wider.
Yeah.
The problem that you have though, and that is probably exacerbating the problem, is that those two sports have the highest rosters.
Right.
Right,
So they're
Right.
bringing in they're really bringing in a lot.
which is what the parents complain about.
Yeah,
So are you thinking
That
that, are you
we fill
thinking,
seats or
when
slots
you
or
look,
shorts.
when you look at the fees for sports, Dave, is your
Well, they also
hope
have a gate.
by equalizing these that we're keeping the sports fees at least where they are? Or are you hoping you're reducing them?
Well, I don't know what the number looks like. I'm not looking to reduce them.
Okay, all right. So to maintain, if we can look at how do we maintain the current level, right? And then figure out what is that number we need, and
It's on the
then,
bus and a